Hello everyone and welcome to Teeya Tuesdays. I'm so glad that a lot of you all have been putting it on your schedule to watch Teeya Tuesdays. You don't understand what that means to me or how that makes me feel, that you would join me here every Tuesday. There's a lot of stuff going on, good and bad, and you could be entertaining that right now, but you're watching with me, so please know I don't take that for granted at all. As you can see, I didn't open up my show today with my music and a short film, and I did that on purpose. Today I'm really kind of, it may not look like it because I didn't do my hair and all that, but I'm really kind of heavy as far as hearted, and I wanted to talk to you all about what was on my heart, and I hope that it connects with you and that it inspires you to do what you know you're supposed to do. So the topic for today is make the decision or stop trying. I'm not a very churchy person. I'm not the type of person who just walks in the room like, oh God is here, and I'm just not. But I'm not stupid either, and I know that He speaks to me, and that's what my show is about, just sharing that with you. One thing He's been dealing with me about is I can literally hear Him saying, like, how long are you gonna know what to do and not do it? Like, really? And I've been talking to a couple of my friends about that, and so I find myself like, okay, I gotta do this, trying to get on my stuff, but I'm trying to get on my stuff with one foot and I'm trying to stay safe with another foot. And it's so frustrating because you're like, well, this ain't going nowhere, or this is, it's only doing the, it's only going so far, but it's because you're not all in. You're not all in. And I know for me, the biggest thing is because of fear and uncertainty. You don't know what's going to happen if you give your all, if you invest your all. And then you're afraid of that too, because you don't know what could happen and you don't know if you can handle what can happen. So with my topic, I wanted to really point out 3 things that has happened to me over the years. I hope you connect with it and you can understand where I'm coming from. So let's get started. The first one, I've always had the analogy of a diving board, and what the scenario would be I would be on a diving board. There's people behind me, there's people standing around the pool, and there's people behind me, they're waiting on me to jump. So I'm like, all right, I got you. So I'm like, all right, so you know how you do your little runoff. So I'm about to run and jump off the diving board, but as soon as I get to the edge, I like freeze, and it's like, ugh, it's this cringing feeling that stops me from jumping. And it's like, why wouldn't you jump? Like, just jump, girl. And what's crazy is I know how to swim. Like, I love to swim. Shallow water or deep water, diving board, high dive. That's me. I'm a fish all day. But when I in this analogy or this dream, I run and I can't jump. And there's so many fears going through my mind. Like, what if I drown? Or what if I don't do it the right way? And I was talking to my counselor when I was in college, and I told her, I remember when I was first practicing diving off the board, it took me a while because I was so afraid that I wouldn't do it right. And when I think back to my life now, that's the case in a lot of things. I'm not jumping into it because what if I don't do it right? And I'm a perfectionist, and that matters to me because there are people who you inspire or people who use you as an example of what not to be. And I always want to be a light. I always want to be an inspiration. And I just want to do it right. You know what I mean? There's another analogy that I've had for a while. And the dream or daydream per se was me walking into a room. And when I walk into the room, it's full of presents. I mean, like, you can't even walk. It's just full of, like, gifts. But I can't open them. And I was just like, what is that supposed to mean? Like, I mean, gifts galore, but I couldn't open them. And I'm still a little torn on what that means, but from what I've gathered so far, it's like, here it is. I'm in this room with all of these possibilities, all of these giftings that God has given me, and they're not even open. They're not even open, and I don't even know how to open. I just know that all of this is available to me. How to open it, what's in it, I don't know, but it's available. And then the last thing is, and I'm going to go over what all of these mean in summary. The last thing is green grass. And this is just recently. I've been having this just visual aid of me living in a dull gray life. And I'm looking over like a balcony or over a fence. And everything on that side of the world is green, but everything within my shadow is gray. And what that means for me is I'm getting to a point where I'm just tired of seeing the possibilities and opportunities available for other people, or opportunities that other people are taking. You know what I mean? I'm just tired of seeing what's possible for other people. I work in a well-off neighborhood, and I see people drive all kind of cars, and I see people pull out all kind of different cards and all kind of stuff like that. And I just think, I feel like that's my life. And it's not that I'm materialistic, but I just feel like there's a better quality of life for me. I just feel like that. And I've never had it. I've never been a spoiled kid. Never. But it's just something in me that just feels like I'm supposed to have the best, and that I can have the best. I'm good at what I do. I'll learn if I'm not. Like, I just feel like my character is that of someone who has quality and deserves quality. So, but as of right now, I feel like I'm just in this gray, in this dull, nothing happening mode. And I'm looking out to the world, and everything else is in color. And I want to be a part of life. That's really what it comes down to. That I'm not living holistically, which is where the gray comes from, the lack of color. And I'm looking out to the world, and I'm saying that it's alive and it has so many possibilities, but I'm still watching. And this kind of taglines on coach instead of play, but it's really now you have to make a decision on what you're gonna do. I remember reading Napoleon Hill's book, or rather listening to this audio, and he said you need to write down what you want and what you're going to give up for what you want, because you will have to give up something. And I realize that a lot of us, we want a lot of things, but there are some things we've distinguished as a comfort for us, and we will not let them go. We literally hold them dear as children because they comfort us, and they probably will remind us of our childlike features, and we won't let them go. And because we won't let them go, we're literally trading our desires and our dreams for them. And I find myself asking myself, why am I holding on so tightly to this little? Why am I, and the very thing I say I don't want, why am I holding on for dear life to a bad relationship? I remember when that was the case for me. Why is it that I know I'm a great person, I know I'm a great woman, that any man would be, more than happy to have me? Why am I holding on to dear life for a relationship that does not work? Why am I holding on for dear life to be with someone who does not want to be with me? You know what I mean? Things like that don't make sense, but there's something in those situations that we're holding on to, and we find them more dear to our hearts than our dreams. We find them more closer to us than our desires. But I'm here to tell you that you cannot. I know what we were taught when we grew up in church, what God has for you is for you. Cliches like that, and I hate to call them cliches, but what I have learned growing up from experience is that what God has for you, it is for you. It has your name on it. It's available to you. But I've also learned that you can forfeit what is for you. If you've ever read the story of the three servants who were given talents, God gave one of the other servants 3 talents, and God gave the last one only 1. The one who had 1 didn't do anything with his talent. And because he was afraid that he would lose it, because he was afraid that he wouldn't make anything of it, he decided to bury it, to keep it until the master comes back, so at least he can give this 1 back to the master. And when the master came back, he was highly upset. He was not upset because he lost it. He was upset because he didn't even try. He allowed fear to make him bury his gift, and he didn't even try to reproduce. And so he took the talent from the servant who only had one, and he gave it to the one who had the most. And he said, because the one who has the most works the hardest. And what is that saying, or what am I using that to say to you? I'm saying, as far as the cliche, what God has for you is for you. It's true. What he gave to you, it is for you. But it can be taken away. It can be taken away. And even speaking on the gifts and burying them because of fear, you cannot do that. You have to get out, and you have to try, and you have to make it work. Even if you fall, at least you can say, Lord, I tried. At least you can go to bed knowing that you tried. But to not even try because of fear is unacceptable. And I find myself at this place where I know I want more. I know how to get the more. I know what I want to do. I'm so clear now as far as my businesses and what I have to offer to the world. But I have not made the decision that I'll die for this. And I know that sounds so dramatic, but you have to make that decision, because life will try to punk you. It'll try to punk you to where you feel like it's killing you, or it's taking everything from you. And it'll be so easy to walk away from what you said you wanted unless you fully commit. You fully commit. And why don't we fully commit? We don't fully commit because we don't fully believe. It's hard to give you all into something you don't think it's going to work. A lot of relationships, we go into relationships like that. I'm not trying to make this about relationships, but it's just so easy to compare it. I went into a lot of relationships guarding my heart. I was saying that it was open, but it was not open. It was like, okay, what you gonna give? You give a little bit, I'm matching what you give. I didn't go in giving all because I was afraid. I didn't fully believe everything that person was telling me that they were and that they would do. I didn't fully believe their promises. So I didn't go in with an open heart. I was only matching them. Whatever they gave, I gave. But with that, you're only going to get as much as they give, as much as life gives. But if you want to be in control of what you want, you have to set the bargain, because the price comes from you. So I really hope you guys set whatever it is that you want. You have to sit down. I'm doing this today because I'm so full. My heart feels so much pressure because it's like, Teeya, you have to decide. You have to decide. And once you decide, you know what to do. It's confusing when you have 1 foot in the gray and 1 foot in the green. It really is. You know what I mean? Because the paths don't lead the same way. They really don't. You may start off walking like this, 1 foot on green, 1 foot on gray, but keep walking. And the green is going to go right, and that gray is going to go left, and then what? You're going to find yourself stuck, and some of us do feel like we're stuck. I don't know what to do. My desire is to do this, but I feel like I got to do this. You know what I mean? You have to make the decision. And I study a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of successful people, and the common factor is they decided what they wanted, and they were relentless in that. They didn't go outside of that principle. This is what I want. This is what I believe should be here. This is what I believe people want, and they stuck to their guns. And it's like, why am I playing this shy, afraid little girl who's afraid to make a decision? But I'm only one. You're only one decision away. That sounds totally cliche, but it's the truth. You're only one decision away. I'll go back to relationships. All it takes is for you to be totally done. To be totally done with this person, and it's over. That's one decision. You don't have to say no every day. You can say no once and leave. And that is it. But we play around with stuff. We teeter-totter. We break up knowing we're going to get back with this person. That's that green and gray, and you cannot walk that fence. Even the Bible talks about how God would rather us be hot or cold, but not lukewarm. For those who are lukewarm, he spits them out of his mouth. And it's like, Lord, I don't want to be lukewarm. But that's your courage and your fear fighting at the same time. Your courage says go green. Your fear says go gray. You know what I mean? But time is not stopping for you to make a decision. Like yesterday, I felt like I was 16. Now I'm 25. Life does not stop because I'm indecisive. It never will. It never will. And it's like, you want life to slow down so you can make a decision, or you want things to pause so you can clear your mind. But truth be told, a lot of us, you're on a merry-go-round, and it is not going to stop spinning. And while it's spinning, you have to make life decisions. And you may feel like this is not fair. How in the world do I make a life decision in a situation that's got me spinning, that's got me dizzy, where things are everywhere, where I can't even tell? When you're on the merry-go-round, everything starts blurring because you're dizzy. You can't even tell what's where. And even in that moment, you have to make a life decision, a decision that's going to change your life. And I'm telling you all, I'm telling you from the bottom of my heart, I don't want to live my life wishing that I lived my life. You know, one day I'm going to have children, and I want them to respect and honor me because of what I did, not because of what I said. I'd rather them respect and honor me for both, but more so because I was an example in my life. So what is the decision that you need to make? If you know every day you wake up, you think about modeling, or you're always taking pictures, or you just have an eye for something, why have you not made the decision to do that? You can easily say, well, I don't have the money and it's too much to do this. Are you kidding me? Once you make the decision, God starts pulling out stuff that you didn't even know was there. He starts pulling out resources because, like I said in my last video, he provides instructions once you agree to go the way. He'll start pulling out resources and people and money and scholarships. And next thing you know, you'll be in LA. You know what I'm saying? But if you don't make the decision, you will not know what's possible. Because what happens is when you're 1 foot in the green, 1 foot in the gray, you can only go so far in the green, and you can only go so far in the gray. And right outside your limit, say for instance, this is as far as you can go in the green. Right here is your resources. And you'll never know. You'll never know because you're steady teeter-tottering between. But if you put the other foot over on that fence, if you step totally into the green and just walk a little bit, bam, resources. We don't believe that. We don't believe it because it's like, well, I don't see it. You're not going to see it where you are. You're just not. And that's not going to change. Stop praying for sunshine to come to your gray area. It'll never happen. I've done it for years. I've done it for years. I've asked God to change. Lord, change this about me. I don't want to be this. I don't want to be able to feel. I don't want to, whatever it was. I don't want to be, you know, I don't want to be depressed. Whatever it was, I was asking him to bring sunshine to my dark area. And I had to get up. I had to get up and go. I had to get up and say, today, I will not be depressed. I will not lay in a dark room and cry and wonder why I'm here. I'll get up and find out. You have to do that. And because he gave you everything that you already needed, he's holding you responsible to take charge of your life. He is not going to live it for you. He's giving you the spirit to live, the breath to live, the health to live, and we take it for granted every day. You have to make the decision. No more teeter-tottering. Get out of that gray and get in the green, or get out of the green and go to the gray. Whichever you decide, it'll give you the most out of it. If you want the most miserable life you can possibly have, go on, step all the way in the gray. If you want misery and purpose, step in the green. Because I don't want you to think that all in the green is all green. You may even still have gray patches, and it'll remind you of the past. You're like, oh man, this is coming back up, but that's okay because it's predominantly green with a series of gray patches. That's okay, because on the gray side there is no green. There's no green at all. It's all gray. It's all gray. So I'd rather live with majority of happiness in little situations than for my life to be totally misery. I hope it makes sense to you all. I believe it does. It will to those who connect to it. For those who stand on that diving board, and there are people standing behind you waiting on you to jump. They need you to jump. Jump. Jump knowing that you can't swim, and see what happens. Be willing to die. Be willing to die for which, even if I put my all into this and it doesn't work, that's a sign of death, because the pain that may come from rejection, or the pain that may come from it not working, it's gonna feel like that. But decide anyway. When it comes to the room full of presents, get in that room and figure out how to open them, because they're yours. They're all yours. All of these gifts have your name on it. You just got to figure out how to open them. And the last one, the green grass, step on over. Step on over. You can do it. It's not about education. It's not about what you know. You don't need another sign from the Lord. You don't need that. You simply need to take your foot, which is your courage and your faith, and you need to step over to the other side. My prayers go out to all of you who are watching, and I pray that you make the decision, that you don't take this as, oh, that was good, and not apply it to your life. I pray that today will be a monumental day for you, because today is the day that you decide to live the life that God gave you. The dream you think about all day, the very thing you're great at, but that you don't capitalize on, that you'll decide to make that first this time. So be encouraged, you all. Again, thank you for watching. If you've watched and you haven't subscribed, I would love for you to join my family. This is the You're Not Alone zone, because you're not alone. Tell a friend, share it. You all have been doing that amazingly. I mean, I can go on Facebook and people are sharing. They ain't even tag me, they're just sharing it, which blesses my heart, because it lets me know that you all want other people to be helped just as much as I do. So stay encouraged, you all. I love you, and God willing, I can't wait to see you next week for Teeya Tuesdays. Peace.
So I'll be waiting still.